Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the incredibly complex ascent of Ali Khamenei. We're going to trace his journey chronologically, right from his quiet early beginnings all the way to his massive global footprint today. Let's get right into it. So, we're kicking things off with an absolutely massive question. It's like a giant historical puzzle. On one hand, you have this unparalleled military apparatus and decades of deep global political influence. And on the other, a young, quiet, religious student. How exactly does one transform into the other? Well, that's exactly what we're going to map out. Here's the timeline we'll be following. Birth in 1939, the massive revolution in 1979, the presidency in 1981, and finally becoming supreme leader in 1989. Part 1, the quiet, religious student. This covers 1939 into the 1960s. What's really striking here is the sheer contrast between his roots and where he ends up. Born in Mashhad, Iran, back in 1939. His family was religious, but definitely not wealthy. Early on, he's described as a quiet, deep thinker, super disciplined. His initial focus actually wasn't politics at all. He was deeply immersed in academia, studying Islamic theology and philosophy. Moving on to part 2, sparking a revolution, spanning the 1960s to 1979. Okay, so Iran at this time is ruled by the Shah, and Khamenei steps into this intense sequence of resistance. First, he starts actively opposing the government, then he's using his theological background to deliver these powerful speeches against the regime. And this came at a massive personal cost. He was arrested, imprisoned, even tortured. But, rather than breaking him, those trials actually forged him. They elevated him into a key revolutionary figure. And then, 1979 hits, the year that literally changed everything. The Shah is overthrown and the Islamic Republic rises under Ali Khamenei. For Khamenei, this is the pivotal moment. The revolution succeeds, and suddenly he has significant political power in this brand new system. Part 3, Presidency and Survival. We're looking at 1981 to 1989 now. This era is, without a doubt, a literal trial by fire. He becomes president of Iran in 1981, but that very same year, he survives an assassination attempt. It was an explosion that left his arm permanently injured. I mean, imagine trying to lead a newly reformed nation while recovering. On top of it, he's navigating the brutal Iran-Iraq war and trying to manage severe economic struggles. Surviving all of that really solidified his grip on leadership. Which brings us to part 4, becoming the supreme leader in 1989. Now, to really grasp Iranian politics, we have to understand what this role actually is. Supreme leader isn't some ceremonial title. It's the highest authority in the country, period. In practice, that means total encompassing control. From 1989 onward, he has absolute authority over the most vital institutions: the military, the judiciary, the media, and the government itself. It's the absolute peak of the power structure. Part 5, Global Power and Control. From 1989 right up to the present day. Let's look at things domestically first. Over the last few decades, there have been major periods of unrest. Protests in 99, election protests in 2009, and major protests again in 2022. And if you look at the data, the pattern is identical every single time. Unyielding, strong government control, the response to domestic opposition just does not waver. Today, his leadership style is a fascinating mix. He balances deep-rooted, strict ideological beliefs with incredibly strategic statecraft. It's an even split of being highly influential, strictly ideological, and highly strategic. And of course, his decisions ripple way beyond Iran's borders. The global impact is profound. We're talking ongoing tensions with the US and Israel, the entire development of the nuclear program, and just massive influence across the Middle East. It's a leadership defined by anti-West policies and his role as a paramount religious figure. He is literally shaping modern geopolitics. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, the trajectory is just staggering, right? 1939, a quiet kid from a modest family studying philosophy. And today, commanding a military, dictating global politics, and controlling an entire nation. Let's wrap up this explainer with a thought from the source material. His story is not just about power, but control, belief, and influence. It really forces us to ask a profound question. In the modern world, what's actually the stronger geopolitical force? A nation's military might, or the unyielding belief of a single leader? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.